I want to die.
So, the Meet Your Match update has come and gone. It was quite the spectacle. Quick play was removed, much to many's despair and quite a few's glee, and competitive matchmaking has finally decided to be a part of our game. Casual, quick play's replacement, quickly got drowned in hatred, however. Quickly. Get it? I made it funny. Anyways, Casual had a few things working against it from the start. Number one, well, it was replacing quick play. While I myself felt like quick play actually hurt TF2, it was no question that quick play had a special place in some people's hearts. Thus, the removal of it would clearly sting. But this sting was amplified by the fact that it was replaced by Casual, of which you couldn't even bother to get into a game because the queue times were so horrible. Even now, a couple of days later, the waiting times are far longer than competitive matchmakings. It took me upwards of 10 minutes to get into a game last night. And it's somewhat bizarre. Not to mention that you can't choose what maps you play, which is something that many took as quite the slap in the face. The important thing to remember here is that Valve was in no way trying to slap us in the face or say fuck you to the casual audience. In fact, quite the opposite. Valve most definitely thought Casual to be a fantastic change for TF2. And for a lot of players, it is indeed a fantastic change. But the larger, louder audience from Quick Play made it out very quickly for what it was launched to be. An absolute mess. So, as you may or may not know, I enjoy trying my hand at suggesting changes and fixes to make TF2 and elements of better overall. So, since it's topical, today I'm repairing Casual mode. My first changes are to the first little menu screen you see when you select Casual mode. My first changes are to the first screen that you see when selecting Casual mode. Firstly, I would put a button somewhere that you can check that asks you if you would like to join games in progress or not. MVM already has this feature, and it can't really hurt to have it in Casual as well. My next change to the main screen is the mode selection and how it functions. Valve clearly plans to add map selection in the future, and I might as well offer some suggestions on how to do it. Keep mode selection as it is, but have a button that gives you a little drop-down, offering you the 5 most played maps of the mode. How you find these 5 maps is up to you. Maybe run a map selection beta or something to gather data on what maps people prefer to play. Then add those 5 maps in as the main maps. That way people can still pick and choose what maps they'd like, and I'll say it now, most everyone agrees there's just some maps that no one plays. Maybe don't remove the maps from the game entirely, but give them their own little mode selection drop-down in the Other Game Modes tab, such as Other Maps or whatever. This would also mean that you can have a tab for maps that were just released within an update, such as Update Maps or New Maps. Could work too. I saw a screenshot on Reddit. It looks nice. This one almost goes without saying, but I'll go ahead and say it anyways. Queue time needs to be fixed. For something like a pub that's not really going to take you that long, the queue time should not be more than a minute. So hopefully that fix is in the wings sooner than later. XP changes. Oh god, alright, XP. This is where I feel Valve is really in need of our help right now. So let's go ahead and do this. Firstly, for playing a map start to finish, I feel like you should be awarded some sort of XP bonus. So even if you lose or, you don't do well, sticking through it will grant you something to be happy about, and it will be a better solution to encouraging people to stick with it, instead of that horrid penalty that was originally attempted. Thanks for fixing that, by the way. Good on you. Damn it. Drop in XP. Now, right now, from what I understand, you don't receive any XP for being someone who drops into a game in progress. I don't understand if that's intentional or not, but that's certainly a big issue right now. So I would do something similar to what I did with the staying all game bonus for this. Maybe a little less XP than that though. So if you drop into a game and stay to the finish, you should get some amount of an XP bonus, although I would say it needs to be less than if you were to stay start to finish. Also, if you really want to entice people to check that box, give them something like a +5 to 10% XP bonus for their next game. That will stack with any bonus they receive for completing the game, so if you go start to finish, it'll amplify that as well. You don't want to alienate people who drop into games because doing so is almost guaranteed to earn you less XP. So let's make it up to these fine folks. Group XP. Now, this one is the most optional of the 3, I'd say, but it could be a good change regardless. have a plus 10 or a plus 20% XP bonus for being in a group. Now, the reasons for this can vary, but from what I see, it's not really that bad. It's really to help encourage people to play games with pals or find new pals to queue with. It doesn't really hurt anything from the angles I've seen it from, but if you know why it might not be such a great idea, go ahead and let me know. Gameplay changes. Overall, Valve did gameplay pretty well. I only have a couple of things that I can really complain about. Speaking of which, let's start with that by saying random fucking crits! Now Valve, I don't understand why random crits are still a fucking thing. This was really your chance to get rid of them, and here we are, they're still here. They really offer nothing in the way of gameplay, and it's just frustrating to fight against. So, if this is or isn't the last plea, please Valve, just turn them off by default and let us be happy. Next, go ahead and add a map vote to the end of the game. I feel like the weirdest thing about Casual right now is how abruptly it ends once the game is over. I feel like if you're in a good lobby, you should be allowed to stay in that lobby. So, add a CSGO style map vote at the end of the game. Let people choose what the next map is and keep casual games going. This would require the substitution system to be good though, which leads me to the substitution system. To me, it feels like it really isn't that great right now. Casual games are a mess of team unbalance, and it's really sad to see. From what I understand, substitution systems are pretty easy to fix. Now, I've heard of fixes in the works, so I will leave it at that, but please fix it. So, hey guys, there we go. With those changes, I think Casual would be a much better experience, so let's go ahead and do it. Because, unfortunately, we kinda have to if TF2 is going anywhere. I'll be working on a competitive mode change video soon, and probably taking a serious look at the balance changes and maybe giving my own thoughts on those as well. Expect one of those two videos to be out probably by Friday. Until then though guys, thanks for watching, and take it easy fellas.